I have a whole bunch of scenes to start building, and then I have to get people to come in and help me decorate.
So, like, can we interact with the things there, or is that just like static background stuff?
Most of the interactions in the UI are extremely limited. There will be doors and chests and chairs to sit on, but otherwise it's very limited. It's primarily for spatial orientation.
Okay. So, yeah, okay.
If you want to steal something, you got to role play it.
Okay, that's kind of what I was wondering is like I'm looking at that cart and those jugs and you know what I mean, and assuming there's people there, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Can I, yeah, I can climb
Hey,
on it, but I still have to, yeah. All right, I get you.
so what would happen? Let's say, for instance, you're like, oh, I'm going to break open these bags of grain. You would role play breaking open the bags of grain. The game system would cut in, understand what you're trying to do, perform a skill check. Obviously, you don't need a skill check for breaking open a sack of grain, but if you did, it would run a skill check, and then it would narrate what would happen, but it will not be represented visually. It's all held in the narrative.
Okay, I got a weird question because you said what you said. Let's say that I role played that I removed a knife from my pocket and then sliced open the bags of grain. Is it going to check and make sure I actually have a knife?
Yes.
You're beautiful.
You're such a flirt.
I know, I really
Aw.
am, especially when you tickle my role play, man.
Yeah. It'll check to make sure you've got you've got a knife. You've got two inventory systems. You've got inventory on your person, and you have a classic bag of holding. You will be able to use anything on your person, but if you want to use something in your bag of holding, you're going to have to open the bag, and it'll put a little hole on the ground or some other animation, and then you'll have to move things out of your bag of holding, which is unlimited, into on your person, which does have weight limits. So I tried to do the best of both worlds.
Okay, that'll be interesting in play.
The idea was, like, you don't want somebody with an entire arsenal in their bag of holding. They
Right,
just
like
keep
carrying
pulling
a
out the next
house.
sword, right?
Yeah.
If you do that, you can't do it in combat. You know, there'll be limits on how you can access the bag of holding. But at the same time, there's no running to a damn bank. Your bag of holding has all of your inventory. It's all accessible to you.
Kind of like
Okay,
a mix
when
between a standard RPG inventory, which is all stuff you could immediately access, and Second Life's inventory, which is just limitless.
Right, and you're just shifting its locations around and stuff to
Yeah,
use
and there'll be
those.
some limit on how much time it takes to get into it. I don't know if it'll take a turn or if it'll take 30 seconds. I figure a lot of those are going to be play test questions where, players are going to be like, okay, that's too long, that's too short, and we'll negotiate those times. You can rotate the camera. The trees will have a shader so they move out of the camera way. We're still working out the bugs on that.
quick question back there on the bags of grain.
Hmm.
When you get further down the line, will the animations actually be there for the grain, or will you still role play?
This is an unanimated system. The amount of animations in the window are limited to a combat position, a sit animation, a lay down on the ground animation, some general idles, but
They have a couple combat animations.
it is primarily text-based. That's why I tell people that the game view is intended to be spatial orientation, which is what is going to allow us to convert this game for visually impaired, because we're going to be able to create an orientation window that hopefully can be read by Braille readers as well. So they'll be able to know where they stand in relationship to other players. So the visual window, the best way to think of it is it's really just a kind of high-end tabletop, miniature, or diorama scene. Everything is text-based.
It's like a visual enhancement to the
That's
text-based
correct.
game. Yeah.
And what that allows us to do is cut our development time by like, I don't know, 60%, if not more. I was going to say 80, and I thought maybe that was a little exaggerative, but
Huge difference.
I'll be
Because
honest,
we're-
it's prettier than I expected it to be.
Oh,
Like,
thank
this
you.
is the first time that I feel like I've seen it in, like, I ran around in the 3D world when you first started before, but this is completely different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I didn't love the visuals that we were coming up with. And the problem with having a visually dominant world where you've got character actions and emotes and everything narrated, none of it matches your text anyway. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to type out this role play post, blah, 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 how you do the things. And then people switch over and then they do like a wave emote. Nobody even sees the wave emote because they're looking at the text. And it takes 3 seconds to do versus the amount of time it takes to read your post. So we just kept it very, very tight. It's mostly spatial orientation, not intended to be immersive within the visual scene in that way. Obviously, I want it to be pretty, and I don't want floating leaves in the middle of my scene like that one is.
But it's a magic leaf.
It's a magic leaf,
I
yeah.
know they exist, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna have some as soon as we're done.
Ah, I'm gonna shut up.
I think a lot of us identify with that.
Yeah. And this may be something where players look at it and they go, wow, this just doesn't work for me. I want a more traditional RPG interface, and that's okay, but we're aiming for it, the real story to come in what you write and what you read, and that allows me to do things. For instance, if you've played Baldur's Gate, they let you do a lot of things in the game. We can do way more because it's just text-based. And the scenes will remember. So, for example, if you walk into some place and you throw a note in the trash bin, the next person who walks into that scene will be able to go to that trash bin, role play looking through it, and find your note because the text locations are persistent. So remember in some games where if you want to leave a note, you have to like have this entire note system. You don't have to in here. It'll get stored into the inventory of that location, and you'll be able to discover it and interact with it.
All right, this is kind of weird and far-fetched, but I'm going back to that green that I cut open with my knife, and the green went all over the place. The next guy who walks down the dock, how is he going to know there's green all over the dock?
We'll narrate it.
Like
What we
as he
don't
comes
have-
onto the scene?
Yep.
Yes. What we don't have currently is scene narration. What there will be is when you enter an area, say for the first time, you will see a narration of that location.
Classic
And-
role play
and
narration.
Whenever things change in that location, that narration will change.
Yep.
Oh, dude, I gotta see this like in play. Sorry, but I do.
That's not today's demo. 'Cause
No,
that's
I
not
know.
working
Now
yet.
I'm getting all jazzy about it. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Let me play with. Okay.